There's some times when I just want to cry in the shower all day long. I just don't want to leave the shower. There's some times when I just want to read the word. I want to read the Bible all day long because I just feel like I need just like everything. I just want to sit in a sanctuary 24 hours and just be like a nun and just nobody talk to me. I just need to hear from Jesus and nobody else. Just nothing. That's how I feel a lot of moments in my life.
Welcome to Onward and Upward with Leslie E. Royal. I'm Leslie, and I will be interviewing exceptional African-American women who have made an amazing difference in their local and global community. One such creative woman is Angela Marie Hutchinson, who is the founder of a nonprofit called Breaking into Hollywood. Welcome, Angela Marie.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Here in California, I'm doing great.
Wonderful, wonderful. You're in Beverly Hills, right?
Yep, my office is in Beverly Hills. Yep, and I live in Los Angeles.
I love it. I love it. I've always wanted to visit both cities.
Great cities. I don't think I could live anywhere else. Maybe Hawaii, but I love LA.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your really busy schedule to join me today on Onward and Upward with Leslie E. Royal.
I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited about getting started. And the first thing I want to ask about is your wonderful organization called Breaking into Hollywood.
Yep. Breaking into Hollywood, it's an organization that I started in 2005. And essentially, it's an organization that helps creative professionals break into the industry. So whether they're writers, actors, producers, anyone in that, and even some folks are like on the business side, like, entertainment attorneys or business executives. So the goal of the organization is that, Hollywood is all about collaboration. And so the organization brings people together through events. We're doing obviously a lot of virtual events now during this time period, but usually we do live events where we'll have a speaker come in and provide insights to people on how to get an agent, how to sell a script and things like that. And, it's been a great organization to be able to give back to the community. And then in return, it's also like fed me in a lot of ways. And, I've kind of built a lot of great contacts and a great email list and things like that kind of help my own career. So it's been a great experience.
Well, that is so very exciting. And why is it important for us to follow our dreams?
So that we don't have any regrets, really. It's important to follow your dreams so you do not have regrets because you want to make sure you live your life to the fullest. I think that because I'm someone who had a dream and just went after it, I literally got in my car. At the time when I moved out here, I had a 1994 Geo Tracker. I literally drove cross country by myself from Chicago. I'm originally from Chicago to LA on a mission to accomplish my dream to become a writer. And so I think that now I do a lot of career coaching with other individuals. And a lot of times I know that there's a lot of difficulties that we can have in life. And sometimes it hinders us. Sometimes it's justfully hindered. It's understandable why the hindrance is there. But no matter what, it's so important to keep pursuing your dreams, especially because you really want to, your dreams ideally are not just about you. They're about servicing and helping other people in some capacity. So when your dream happens, you don't know how you might be affecting the rest of the world and other people. So that's something important, I think, to keep in mind.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for inspiring us to follow our dreams.
Of course.
Yeah, I was really, really, really excited to have you come on, and we had to work with your wonderful schedule. You've got all of these great projects going on, but I thought I've got to have her for this 10-part series because you have this wonderful book
yes, I do.
called Create Your Yes. And you keep hearing no.
Yes.
So tell us, how do we create our yes?
Yes. Well, here's the thing too. When I've gone on a lot of different talks about creating your yes, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't always perceive the no's they're getting in life. So sometimes some people are like, I don't really get a lot of no's in life because they may not be realizing that there's no's or rejection. So when we talk about no, I think it's important to have the understanding we're talking about, like something that you want that you're not getting, and so the no is all encompassing of just like, I won't say bad vibes, but you're just like not able to break through. You feel like there's something in your life or your career you're not able to break through. And so creating your own yes is all about taking rejection or negativity or anything that's hindering you and redirecting that into your own yes. And so the premise of the book came from, I actually gave a TEDx talk on that exact subject, and that's how I landed the book deal. And so one of the things I talked about in my TEDx talk is that oftentimes in our society, there's this like idea that if you keep hearing no over and over again, that eventually your yes will come. And I say that, I like to believe that that's true, but the fact is that sometimes it isn't true. And sometimes your yes is literally never going to come until you actually create it. And so in the book, I give real strategies. It's a 12-step strategy on how you can actually break down some things in your life and actually apply a strategy from going from rejection to, essentially victory.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for writing that excellent book, and I look forward to reading it and
Thank you.
creating my yes for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, when you faced rejection um, initially, before you learned how to create your yes, when you faced rejection initially, how did you respond to it and how did you overcome it?
I face rejection today, every day. Anyone successful faces rejection because that's a part of the business. Even even Oprah herself. I mean, literally everybody, because I've interacted with a lot of celebrities. I've had a lot of celebrity clients. And so everybody who's doing something, great and amazing experiences some level of rejection because everything is not meant for everyone in the world. So you're always going to be faced with some challenges. And so you just have to learn how those challenges are often just the fundamental blocks that are used in order to build up your yes. So negatives and no's are not a bad thing at all. It's just you have to place them in the right place at the right time, and eventually you start to build up to where you're trying to go. And that's the creation process of actually creating a yes. I think one of the examples I'll share with you is when I was creating my organization, Breaking in Hollywood. The reason why I started that organization is because I got into a place in my own career where I felt like I felt like giving up. I felt like I just couldn't do this anymore. I also felt like I had done all the things right you're supposed to do. Like I met all the right people, I'd written scripts, I was going to networking events, I was doing all these things, and nothing was really happening. Not what I wanted to happen wasn't happening. And so I remember talking to my mom on the phone. I was like, Mom, I just don't understand. Like, why are things not happening in my life? I'm trying so hard. And she asked me, she said, well, what are you doing to give back? And I was like, what? I give back in my church. I mentor young girls. I do a lot of stuff to give back. And she said, but what are you doing to give back in the exact area in which you want to be successful, which is the entertainment industry? And I thought about it and I was like, nothing. I'm not doing anything to give back in that exact field. So that's what I did. So that weekend I started Breaking in Hollywood. And I remember my husband came home. He was in St. Louis because his sister was graduating from college. And I remember when he walked in the door, I said, guess what? I said, I started a business. He was like, a business? I was like, yeah, it's a nonprofit. He was like, a nonprofit? Because I hadn't been working for a long time. And he's like thinking, why is it a nonprofit? And then I explained you could still make money in a nonprofit, but, I explained like the details and intricacy of why I was choosing a nonprofit versus a for-profit company. And so anyway, that was the birth of Breaking Hollywood. So that organization came from rejection. It came from me being in a place of being rejected. And then with the TEDx talk, when I got that opportunity to do that, I always wanted to give a TEDx talk. I love TED Talks. I'm always watching them and trying to get inspired by them. And I was asked to give one about 2 weeks before the event was happening. And they told me their theme was on overcoming barriers. And I was thinking, okay, what kind of barriers have I overcome? And I was thinking, well, I've overcome barriers as, a mom. I've got 3 kids. I've overcome barriers as a Black person, as a Black woman, as a wife. There's tons of barriers there that you have to overcome. I've been married 17 years. There's a lot of work that you put into that. And so I was just thinking, okay, but what is something that everybody can relate to, no matter who you are? And then I was like, rejection. Rejection is something that no matter who you are, not only do you receive rejection, but all of us also give rejection. Even when we're like at Starbucks and the person says, would you like, a green tea or something, a special green tea? And let's say you don't drink tea. You're like, no, thank you. You just rejected that person, but you did it easily and you didn't feel anything. And you don't think the person felt anything. It was kind of like a low key rejection, but we're constantly giving out rejection, some big, some small, and we're constantly receiving it and intaking it a lot. And so that was sort of the motivation behind, coming up with that talk on how to help people to overcome rejection in your life.
Yes. And I tell you, Miss Angela Marie, your mother is a very wise woman. That
Yeah.
is profound advice for you to give to form a nonprofit or spend time volunteering in the area
The
that,
area that you want to
yeah,
be, because
it,
we all tend to volunteer, we all tend to like give our hearts to causes, but we're talking about volunteering and contributing your time in the specific industry in that area that you want to be. And that is, it's really, when you think about it from a wider perspective, it really helps you to see, like, an industry is built off of assets, right? So you want to be something that is contributing to that field, contributing. Hollywood is not just Hollywood because of the name. Hollywood is Hollywood because of all the stars and all of the writers and producers and sound editors and sound designers and production and all the people that make it happen.
yes, indeed. Yes. Oh, that is great advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, I have to read my notes here because I want to get this in. You have worked for MGM. You have worked with Warner Brothers. You have worked with the Grammys. You have been on the red carpet
Mhm.
interviewing people at the Oscars, representing the British Broadcasting Company, the BBC.
Mhm.
That is so very, very, very exciting. What have you learned from the people that you've interviewed and met?
Yeah, you know what I've learned? I've learned so many lessons. I think the one thing I learned most was that everyone is human, and that I got a chance to meet Sigourney Weaver, who is a phenomenal actress and so many of us respect, and so just her presence was just so warming and welcoming. And I think the more you interact with stars, you realize how normal they are. And I think when you realize that, okay, you too can, if you're trying to be an actress, for example, you too can reach, that, can tap into that. And so I've also had a lot of fun. There's been a lot of funny moments. I had a chance to interview Wesley Snipes, and it was very, very loud. This was for like I think this was a post Oscars party, and it was so loud. And so he had attended like it was a business conference that he attended right before. And I had asked him, like, what are his, what did I say exactly? I said something like, what are what's your favorite takeaway from, this event that you want to share with entrepreneurs? And he said to me something about like fried chicken, and rice. And I was like, I said, are you hungry? Wesley said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And he said, you asked me for my favorite takeout, right? And I was like, oh, no, not takeout, take away, take your favorite takeaway. And he's like, oh, okay, and then we shifted the conversation, and he said, to never give up, and be fearless and so forth. But anyway, it was just a really funny moment. So I've had a lot of funny moments, doing red carpet interviews, and it's been a good experience.
What an exciting career. Oh my goodness, I love it. Now, Miss Angela Marie, what does onward and upward mean to you?
Onward and up, it really just means like going forward to live your best life, for me. I mean, it's about, knowing that you have to be realistic. So you are going to get knocked down sometimes. There are going to be some moments, for me, that I do not feel like getting out of bed, but I have to, because I have three little mouths. I gotta, make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for. I've got a husband. There's some times when I just want to cry in the shower all day long. I just don't want to leave the shower. There's some times when I just want to read the word. I want to read the Bible all day long, because I just feel like I need just like everything. I just want to sit in the sanctuary 24 hours and just be like a nun and just nobody talk to me. I just need to hear from Jesus and nobody else. Just nothing. That's how I feel a lot of moments in my life. So for me, onward and upward means that you're gonna get some punches. You're gonna get knocked down in your life, You might be drained. You are going to have some difficult moments. Maybe you're caring for elderly, people. Maybe you are sick or ill yourself. You got a numbness in your tooth gets pulled. I mean, there's always going to be something kind of pulling you. Life is not always going to be happy and glitz and glam all day long. But no matter what, you got to go onward and upward. You got to keep it moving. And why? You keep it moving for the next generation. I keep it moving so my children can understand what tenacity and what it means to be resilient in life, and being able to accept things that are coming to you and break through those things. So that's so important to continue to be onward and upward in your life.
I love it. I love it. And I tell you, Miss Angela Marie, I love that you keep it real. I love it. I love that you keep it 100%. And that's the reason it was so important for me to have you on with us today. And thank you so much for this great advice. And we've been emailing each other back and forth, I think probably over the last 2 or 3 years with various projects that you both
Yeah.
of us have been working on. And I
Hmm.
love that you set boundaries. If you can do it, you'll do it. If you can't
Yeah.
do it, you nicely explain to me. I've got a lot of projects I'm working on. I've got my beautiful children. I'm working with them. I'm working on this project. And you let me know when you can do it, or you let me know if you can do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's something that we can all take away and understand that we need, as women, we need to set boundaries.
Yeah, you have to, because otherwise because if you don't set them, nobody else is going to. No one else is going to set those boundaries for you. And a lot of times everyone's different, but for me, like, stress will just build up unnecessarily. So you might really want to do something. Like I've been trying to like set a date to have a dinner with a friend, one of my girlfriends, and it's just like, like it shouldn't be stressful to like schedule a meeting like that. It's like I know, I love you, girl. I really do want to sit and connect, but like my life is so crazy right now. And so, you don't want to feel that pressure of like having to connect with someone that you really do genuinely want to connect with. But you have to create that space, especially if you have a lot of things you're juggling, because it's the only thing that's going to keep you strong so that you can fulfill your purpose, on earth. And a lot of times when we think about our purpose and the things that we're meant to do, sometimes it feels like so distant or something that we can't touch and feel. But I think we have to make sure that like every day we're living with purpose. It's not just like a grand big overall purpose. It's just like the daily living and purpose. Like, what is my purpose today? If my purpose is just to make sure that my kids get their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we go to the pool, and that's my purpose to have a great day, then that's what I'm going to make sure. I'm going to make sure that that's what the purpose is for the day. If the purpose today, I have to go to set in, a couple hours and whatever, then, setting those intention, being intentional about the time that you have with people. And because then ultimately, I think it benefits everybody.
Excellent advice. Now, Miss Angela Marie, how is your faith your moral compass?
Well, I have been, a Christian since I was born. Mommy and daddy, they raised me up from the very beginning. So for me, I think my faith is very embedded in everything I do. It's always a part of me. It's a part of projects I take on, things I don't take on, things I might say to people, especially in the entertainment business. You work with a lot of different personalities. You work with a lot of different types of people. You work on a lot, sometimes have to work on a lot of different kinds of projects that may sometimes be uncomfortable. So I've had to have conversations with the producer. Maybe they hired me to cast a movie, and some of the dialogue or some of the scenes are just like, I think that they could go a different direction with something and still convey the message. And so I've had to have those hard conversations, say, you know what, have you considered like removing this dialogue and putting this in, and maybe we could switch the scene around? And they're like, actually, that makes it stronger. And I'm like, yeah, so being willing to like, throw in your 2 cents, as it pertains to my faith. It doesn't always pan out, but sometimes it does. So trying to be fearless in living life. Sometimes your faith, you have to be fearless with living your faith. And especially in the industry like Hollywood, is like constantly trying to drown it out. They want to, I hate to say they, because I don't like when people personify Hollywood, but together, I think that the Hollywood itself, is a city made up of, the movie business and television, things like that. And so there's a lot that goes on in that business, that has gone on for many years. And as we saw with like the Me Too movement, things kind of shifting in a different direction, and hopefully it doesn't shift kind of back, because that's sometimes how things go. They get, the pendulum sways. But I think overall your faith is so important. Your faith is important for your children too, as well, so they can see that. I've really had the honor of teaching Sunday school via Zoom over the past, during the pandemic, because our Sunday school teacher is a little bit older, and so they were wanting someone to kind of take on that, and so I was like, oh, I kind of volunteered. I thought it was just going to be like 2 week thing. I don't know, it was going to turn out to be like 3 months now, and I'm like, okay, now I'm like the permanent Sunday school Zoom teacher, but it's all good. But I love doing that because it's an opportunity for my children to see me give my little life lessons to other children, because a lot of times I feel like they just feel like I'm like a mommy little hawk trying to make sure that they're on point, but I care about all children. So when they're able to see me kind of speak to other children, they're like, oh, they have a different perspective of who their mom is. So I think that's really cool.
Amen. Amen. Well, you are such an inspirational young lady. And I tell you, you are a role model for me. I've been following you for several years, and I am so, so, so very impressed.
Thank you.
And I thank you for taking time out of what I know to be a really busy schedule to speak with us today. But we want to keep following you, all of these wonderful projects that you're working on. Tell us about your website and your social media handles.
Yes, so I'm on Instagram as Live with Angela, and then my website is createyouryes.com.
Well, thank you so much for reminding us the importance of creating our yes. And if you can do it, I think we can do it too. Thank you so, so, so very much, Angela Marie.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.